Hello everyone, it's Brianna, and as we've established, I have no self-control. As you guys probably know, if you've been around on my channel for a while, a couple of months ago I had sworn off buying books for the rest of 2020. Since you probably read the title of this video before clicking on it, you'll realize that I failed on that promise. The thing with reading books is that when you're reading them, they continue to be published, and I think that's messed up, frankly, and I think that while I'm reading, I need no books to come out so that I can catch up on everything that's been released up until 2020, and then once I've caught up, then people can start releasing new books. Am I trying to justify the fact that I have no self-discipline? Anyway, let's get started!
Thank you so much to Book of the Month for partnering with me again and sponsoring this video. If you're unfamiliar, Book of the Month is a super popular and fast-growing online book service for readers. Their mission is to promote new and emerging authors and help readers discover books that they love. Every month, their team goes through hundreds of books, and they pick the best new and early release titles so that we can spend less time researching and more time reading. If there's ever a month that you don't really like any of the picks, you can feel free to skip. It is completely risk-free and you will not be charged. Book of the Month actually introduced me to some of my most favorite books that I've ever read, including Circe by Madeline Miller and Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. Both were previous picks from their Book of the Month subscription box that I read and fell in love with. Within their October book picks, I'm already anticipating some new favorites. The Invisible Life of Addie larue is about a woman who makes a deal with the devil. She gains immortality, but the cost? No one she meets will ever remember who she is. Ties That Tether is about a Nigerian woman who has to decide if she wants to pursue her one true love or to make her family happy. Leave the World Behind follows the story of a group of strangers who are stuck in a home in the Hamptons together after a blackout sweeps all of New York. The Girl in the Mirror is about identical twin sisters, one who disappears and the other who takes over her life. Magic Lessons is about a young woman who is betrayed by the man she loves. She travels to Salem, Massachusetts, and there she invokes a curse that will haunt her family forever. Book of the Month also has the best prices for new releases in hardcover. You can get your first book for only $9.99 with the code BOOKUP.
So the first book I have is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. This had been recommended to me by my friend Tiffany from Read by Tiffany. It follows the story of our main character Lee, whose mother had just recently passed away, and Lee believes her soul had become a bird. She then travels to Taiwan in order to try to find her mother in the form of the bird, and there she forges a new relationship with her grandparents. She discovers more about herself and her family, and it's a big journey of self-discovery and dealing with trauma and tragedy. The next two books I have are Spin the Dawn and Unravel the Dusk by Elizabeth Lim. I was very intrigued by the premise of this story. If you guys are unfamiliar with Mulan, essentially a young girl takes over her father's spot in the army and fights in order to win freedom for China. She has to disguise herself as a man in order to not be found out and to not be murdered because women aren't allowed to join the military. In this retelling from Elizabeth Lim, instead of it being a military, it's joining a tailor competition. Tailors, as in people who sew clothing and make clothing. Her father cannot go and travel far to participate in this tailor competition, so his daughter goes in his stead. I think this reimagining of Mulan sounds really refreshing and really exciting, and I can't wait to read this. Yeah, just look how pretty the covers are. What is there to say? It's beautiful. The next book I have is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. You guys have probably already heard of this because everyone and their mom has read this, and it's just me out here with book FOMO and this book. It follows our main character Chloe Brown, who is a chronically ill computer geek and has spent her entire life being really practical and always planning things ahead of time. One day, after a near-death experience, she realizes that she really wants to go out there and start experiencing new things that she hasn't had the chance to before, and she wants to, quote, get a life. She puts together this bucket list of things that she wants to do, like go out and party and have one-night stands, and she enlists the help of a man named Redford, who is her token himbo, who will help her accomplish all of these things. I'm really excited about this book because I love the idea of a really smart, well-accomplished woman teaming up together with a himbo to accomplish a great amount of things, and the romance between them, really excited. I just think it sounds so cute, and the cover is so cute. Heard a lot of rave reviews about this, so I'm excited to get into it. The next book I have is Gideon the Ninth by Tasmyn Muir. This is my friend Leah's recent read that she had loved so much and had talked to me about it on Twitter and told me to read it. I know nothing about it besides it's about lesbian necromancers, and I love the idea of raising the dead. I love sapphic women. It just, I mean, that's all I needed to hear. Lesbian necromancy. I was like, I'm in. Sign me TF up. Here we are. Look how pretty this is. The painted edges. It's I gotta read it. What else is there to say? The next two books I have are The Rise of Kyoshi and The Shadow of Kyoshi by F.C. Yee. These two books are part of the Avatar: The Last Airbender universe and follow the Avatar Kyoshi as she tries to come to terms with her power as the Avatar, aka the only person in the world who can control all four elements: earth, air, water, and fire. Of the people who can bend the elements, they mostly can only bend one, and it's only the Avatar, who's expected to bring balance to the world, who can control all four. It follows her story, and I heard it's gay and powerful. Like I said before in my fall TBR video, I'm really excited about these. The covers are gorgeous, and all of my friends who read these have loved it. Everyone keeps telling me to read them already so they can talk to me about it, so these are a must. So excited. I'm probably going to be picking The Rise of Kyoshi for the November pick for my book club, so keep an eye out on that when I make the official announcement. Next, I have On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. I had actually read this recently for the Bibliophiles book club, and I will link their Twitter down below, and I'll link the live stream as well that I was a guest on. Thank you again to the Bibliophiles for having me. This book is a series of letters written from a son to his mother who cannot read. It's a very personal and intimate look into their lives, about the things that he's hidden from her in terms of his sexuality, his experiences that he's had as a child with drugs that he kept from her, and he kind of has an open discussion with her about the way that he grew up, about the past that she's had kept hidden from him, and it was extremely emotional for me. The language is extremely poetic and beautiful. If you guys are looking for something to make you cry and also to make you think about your relationship with your loved ones, I definitely recommend checking this one out. Next, I have Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. Oh my gosh, I have not heard of another book recently that has gotten the same hype that Cemetery Boys has. All of my friends have practically all read it. My boss at work has read it and she loved it. I can't wait to jump in. It follows the story of our main character Yadriel, who wants to become a brujo, and he tries to raise the spirit of his dead cousin, but instead accidentally raises the spirit of the local school bad boy who had passed away and has a lot of ties to the earth because he wants to know what happened to him. Together, they make a promise. Yadriel will help the ghost figure out what happened to him, and the ghost will help in turn help him try to become a real brujo and raise the ghost of his cousin. They team up, maybe they fall in love, shenanigans happen. I just have not heard a single bad review of this book. I need to jump on it immediately. I think I might start it this week. I'm so excited. Look how pretty the cover is. I love it. The next book I have is The Chonker, that is A Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I have read the synopsis of this book multiple times and I still don't really know what this book is about, but everyone has listed this book on their list of must-read books that have sapphic women in it. Sapphic fantasy is a big plus for me, as you guys probably saw in some of the books that I've shown you already. So I decided I would take on this gigantor of a book and find out what everyone's been hyping about, because if everyone has been reading this huge book and has praised it, then there must be something extremely wonderful about it, right? And I'm excited. Look how pretty the cover is. I can't wait to read about some more powerful sapphics. It's kryptonite. Ooh. The next book I have is A House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This book was recommended to me by Elias from Elias Reads. You guys probably saw Elias losing it over this book like I did all over social media, and I purchased it right away. I told Elias, I was like, I bought this because of you. I'm really excited to read this. I love when people tell me like, this was my favorite book that I've ever read. This changed me profoundly. I always want to be able to see what my friends have been reading and how, if that story that affected them so much affects me as well in the same way. This is a story about a man who is a bookkeeper, I think, and one day he is called to a magical orphanage where he has to decide if these 6 magical orphans are so dangerous that they might pose a threat to the order of the world. In this story, there is a lot of found family themes I've heard, and a lot of emotional, wonderful parent-child relationships, and I just can't wait. That sounds so lovely. I love found family themes, and just knowing that one of my friends, and actually a lot more people who have read it since, have all said that it's moved them so much. I love to read things that move me and make me cry, whether from happiness or from sadness, but the cover is beautiful. The next book I have is A Wish in the Dark by Christina Soontornvat. This was recommended to me by my friend May from Forever and Everly, and as you guys know, my friends' recommendations mean the world to me, so I always pick them up. This is a Thai-inspired fantasy that follows our 2 main characters, one who is an escaped fugitive who recently left prison, and the other is a prison warden's daughter who's looking for the fugitive and to bring him back to justice. It's set across a sprawling cityscape set in Thailand, and I can't wait to just get into this novel because I heard, again, super emotional, super moving themes of found family potentially, and if there's any theme with all these books that I'm buying, I love things that might make me cry. Let's read this together and cry together. The next book I have is I'll Be the One by Lila Lee. This was a gift from my friend Xandra from @twirlingpages, and I am super excited about this one. You guys can see how cute this cover is. I can't get over it. This book follows our main character Sky, who has been told her whole life that fat girls can't dance, fat girls can't be superstars, and that they definitely don't belong in the world of K-pop. She joins a big K-pop competition, think like Produce 101, to become the next big K-pop star, to show the world that their fat phobia is terrible and it's wrong, and that she can do anything that any skinny girl can. I love the premise of this book already. I also heard that there's good buy rep in this book, which I'm also really excited for. I just think the cover is so cute. It already makes me smile just looking at it, so I can't wait to dive into this one. Finally read a book that maybe makes me happy and has a happy ending, because Lord knows I have been reading sad books for a very long time now. So thank you, Lila Lee, for this book, for all the girls who didn't fit the Asian beauty standards, for being like under 50 kilograms and being super light skin, and etc, all of those beauty standards that make it so hard. I love the premise. The next book you have probably already heard me talk about a lot on Twitter if you follow me on there. It's Jade City, and I also have the sequel Jade War by Fonda Lee. Jade City I had purchased for myself because it was my September book club pick. This other book, Jade War, was given to me by my friend Tiffany, again read by Tiffany. I finished Jade City a couple of days ago, I want to say, and I give it 5 out of 5 stars. It is my favorite book, I think definitively my favorite book that I've read in 2020. It's amazing. I don't even know how to explain the fantasy world behind this book. Essentially, we follow these 3 siblings, the Cowell family, and they are part of this gang, clan, mafia that runs the city. There are 2 major clans that run the city. They are the top tier of one of the clans, and then as these 2 clans start going to war, these siblings have to decide how they're going to consolidate power, how they're going to address all of the threats that to their country, to their city, and it was so amazing. I feel like this is so nonsensical, all the things that I'm saying, but I'm still emotionally reeling from this book. I haven't started Jade War yet because I'm scared, and I need everyone to just read Jade City and yell about it with me, and then we can all dive into Jade War together. Currently, one of my friends, Shalea from Shut Up Shalea, she has a readathon for Jade War in Jade City called Keeping Up with the Cowls? I'm not sure. It's a Discord, which I will link down below for you guys to join if you guys want to read these books. I need you all to suffer with me. I have already spoken too long about these, but oh my god, Fonda Lee, please contact me. I just want to say thank you, and also how dare you. The next book I have is Randy Roubaix's Patron Saints of Nothing. I am really looking forward to get into this one. It sounds very emotional and powerful. It follows the story of our main character Jay, who's a Filipino-American teenager. He's ready to go to the University of Michigan and live out his life when he finds out one day that his cousin Jun was murdered by President Duterte's war on drugs in the Philippines. No one in his family wants to talk about it or get into the nitty-gritty details, so Jay decides to take it upon himself to fly to the Philippines and uncover the truth behind his cousin's murder. I really want to make it my mission to read more books by Southeast Asian authors, and this is one that I think is going to be really important, especially considering everything that's going on right now. I cannot wait to get into this one. I think it'll be really powerful and moving, as everyone who's read it has told me it will be. So definitely, if anyone wants to buddy read this one, let me know, because I think this is one that I'm going to want to discuss as I read it and not just read it by myself and then cry alone. So let me know, hit me up on Instagram if you want to buddy read this with me. Next, I have The Weight of Our Sky, which I had also discussed previously in my fall TBR. This is by Hannah Alkoff, whose book, The Girl and the Ghost, I absolutely loved. I got this as a gift from my friend Tiffany from Read by Tiffany. I can't wait to dive into this one also. Similarly, again, Southeast Asian authors that I want to support and read more of. This follows our main character Melody, who lives in Kuala Lumpur in the 1960s. One day, as the racial tensions between the Chinese and the Malay citizens of Kuala Lumpur reach a height, all of the city goes down in flames, all of the communication systems go down, transport, everything falls apart and Melody loses her mother in the crowd and in the chaos. She has to then team up with a boy named Vincent to try to find their way safely through the city and reunite Melody with her mother. Again, the historical importance, the cultural significance of books like this. I really want to read and support these types of stories written by Southeast Asian authors. This is another book that I'm hoping to buddy read with someone, so again, hit me up. I can't wait to read this one. I love Hannah Alkoff's writing, and I think it's going to be very, very moving. Another one from my fall TBR is Mary H.K. Choi's Permanent Record. This was a gift from my friend Xandra at Twirling Pages. Thank you again, Xan, for providing me with good books. This follows our two main characters, Pablo, who is a broke college dropout who works at the local convenience store, and Liana, who is an international pop star sensation. These two randomly meet one day at 5 a.m. in the bodega that Pablo works at, and they find that despite all their differences in lifestyle, they fall in love. Xan has nothing but praise for this book, so I can't wait to dive in and see if she has taste or not. The next book I have is Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky by Kwame Mbalie. I also have the audiobook for this one, and I love reading the book while listening to the audiobook. I think it's just such a fun experience. The audiobook is great if anyone wants to check it out. I am about a quarter of the way through this book now, and it's just reintroduced me to how much I love middle grade fantasies. They're just these sprawling worlds of fantastic, amazing things with really fun characters. I just love reading about kids discovering themselves and discovering new worlds and dealing with new problems for the first time. It just takes me, how do I explain it? It's really good escapism for me, especially in these times where I'm at home alone every single day, and it can be really draining. To be able to jump into a book as fun as Tristan Strong is a great reprieve from the real world. I highly recommend if you guys want to jump into this. I have the audiobook from Libby, so maybe check if your local library has the audiobook for Tristan Strong. It's just fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. The next three books I have are The Fifth Season, The Obelisk Gate, and The Stone Sky, which is the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. This series, I am almost finished. Oh my gosh, the sun is really shining in my face. I am almost finished with the fifth season, but just like with the Dragon Republic, I'm just scared. I'm scared of where the story is going to go, so I am not finishing it so I can pretend that everything is going to be fine. There's 2 more books to go, and I'm just worried for everybody. The story follows 3 main characters as they travel through the world when it's about to come to an end due to a natural disaster that's set to happen soon. All of these 3 characters essentially have the ability to control the natural elements to a certain extent, and these people who have those abilities are looked down upon by those who cannot control the natural elements. I'm not sure how else to describe these books without giving away any spoilers, so I'm going to end it there, but just know this will take you on a roller coaster of an adventure. I highly recommend reading it. Eventually, I will be brave enough to finish the first book so that I can continue on to the second and third, and I'll let you know when that finally happens, how I feel about it all when it comes to an end. The next book I have is The Death of Vivek Oji by Akweke Emezi. This is a story about a mother who one day finds her son's dead body furled in colorful fabrics in front of her doorstep. She then tries to come to terms with his death, and it's about her and her family trying to find out the truth behind her son's murder and trying to find out who her son Vivek Oji really was during his time alive. I really like stories about family dynamics, about struggling family dynamics. Similar to Ocean Vuong's On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, I think this is going to be really deeply moving. And I like also that the story already reveals the big twist, which is that Vivek Oji has passed away in the beginning, and it's going to kind of piece the story together from that climactic story point. I think the narrative style is going to be interesting, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Next, I have Warcross by Marie Lu. Do I know what this book is about? I do not, but I was bullied by Tiffany and Alexandra to read this book, so I hopped over to the local thrift store near me that also has a used book section, and I picked this up for a couple of dollars. I'm really excited to jump into this because I can't imagine being bullied into reading a bad book, so this must be something exciting. I also heard that it's getting a TV adaptation, so I don't know, the cover looks very exciting. I think it's something with hacking and the main character becomes a spy in some kind of hacking competition, if I am not mistaken. Sounds exciting, sounds high stakes. I also have the audiobook for this one, so I'm probably gonna devour this in a day, I have a feeling. Lastly, I have The Poppy War and The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. If you follow me on any form of social media, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, you will know that these books emotionally destroyed me. They ruined me forever. I am never gonna be the same person. My life is split in two parts. It is the pre-Poppy War and the post-Poppy War eras of my life. I can't stress how much these books ruined me. Just, oh my god. The Poppy War follows our main character Fang Runin, or Rin for short, who is a poor war orphan from the south who grew up from nothing, who one day passes the Kuja, gets top scores. It's a national exam that basically allows you into higher education. She gets top scores. She gets accepted into Sinagard, which is the greatest military academy in the country. There she goes to learn more about fighting, to become a great soldier, and while she's there, she learns to call upon the powers of the Phoenix god and call the power of fire. As war threatens to take down Rin's country, her magical powers become the great weapon that might turn the tides of the war. I have nothing intelligent to say right now because I just finished The Dragon Republic a few hours ago and I'm still processing emotionally. So if you'd like to read it, please check out the trigger warnings below in the description before you hop in, because there is a lot that happens. Obviously, this is a book about war. It is also a retelling of the Second Sino-Japanese War, about Japanese imperialism, so if you're familiar with that history at all, you can understand some of the violence that happens in this novel. I'll list all the trigger warnings that I can think of down below before you jump into this one, but this book and this book, somebody owes me money. And with that, those are all of the books that I've purchased recently. Thank you for watching. I don't know if this video made you want to buy books or made you want to stay away from them. I don't know what to tell you. I hope you guys are all doing well. The sun is totally in my face now at this time, so I will see you guys later. Have a good rest of your day. I love you. Goodbye.